Ben, I've got some news for you.
Well, hit me with the news.
Futurism reported on the fact that Meta workers say that they're seeing disturbing things through users' smart glasses. Hmm. Subtitle here says in some videos, you can see someone going to the toilet or getting undressed. Wait a minute. What? So, for anyone who might not be familiar, Meta has put out a product over the past couple of years here, I guess, where they've got these Ray-Ban collaborations, where they've got glasses, where you've got a camera and other functionality. I've never used them. Do you know exactly how it all works?
Yeah, I've seen them in use. They look at this point like regular glasses. Like they're quite inconspicuous. Like those like they look weird because he's weird. But on like other people, like they do look kind of just like normal glasses.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen them look a lot more normal than right there. But so yeah, it's smart glasses, smart technology, and essentially this week we've had some story kind of come out here about how there's some contractors, Meta contractors based in Nairobi, Kenya, told Swedish newspapers in a recently published investigation that they're being told to review highly sensitive and intimate data. Quote, in some videos, you can see someone going to the toilet or getting undressed. One contractor for a company called Sama said, I don't think they know, because if they knew, they wouldn't be recording. Quote, I saw a video where a man puts the glasses on the bedside table and leaves the room. One data annotator told the newspapers, quote, shortly afterwards, his wife comes in and changes her clothes, end quote. So, some more quotes. You understand that it's someone's private life that you're looking at, but at the same time, you're just expected to carry out the work. You're not supposed to question it. If you start asking questions,
Why are they
you
looking at
are
a
gone.
period?
So I think that's the real question here. And definitely the thing that's coming into the limelight is like, what is going on here where this is even possible? How is this a part of the policy of the company? What exactly is going on here? Is kind of the big question.
I don't think we should want everything to be filmed all the time. I think that's a horrible precedent to be set. And I also think that like one example is my girlfriend got a camera for our cats, man, and like I didn't know it was there, and like it got me doing some crazy stuff on the camera. And she said, I was like, yo, what the hell? I didn't know I was being monitored in my own house. But yeah, no, with these glasses, it becomes an issue because when you're walking on the street, like you don't even know who has them, period. Which I guess if you leave your house, you kind of have to have the expectation that you're being filmed now, which is insane. But with those, like, I also see a lot of people using them for content, which I think is kind of messed up because I guess I'm sure after they're getting approval most of the time, but the person is going through the interaction. Yeah, probably not. But the interaction is not given that precedent of like you're being recorded kind of thing.
Mhm.
So people are using that for a lot because it usually leads to more authentic interactions, which is
Right.
great if you're cool with that, but not when you have no clue.
Yeah. I mean, if you've ever seen Black Mirror, here we are.
Hmm.
Um, just this idea of all of society being recorded, and if you really think about this, like let's just be real. There's a clip that we definitely got to pull up, but just imagine what this enables, right? For anyone who wants to use this data in any other sort of a way. I mean, if you wanted to have mass surveillance of any sort, I mean, you've got people that are now
Sure.
paying you to do it, right?
Yeah.
You've got people who are paying you hundreds of dollars to do it for you. So the incentives here are very wild.
We
This
we
is
got
happening, right, in a way.
well. One thing we've been trying to repeat so many times is that we don't have to just like accept these things too, right? Like there are other options where like, we can stop this. Like I think everyone's always like, oh, it's going this way. It has to be mass surveillance. It's like screw that shit. Like let's stop that. Like if we all don't want this, why don't we build a point to make that not happen? Which I would definitely like. And I've seen some wins somewhere. Like I've seen people fight for speed cameras to be taken down and been successful in that at times, right? So I think that don't become complicit with something that you don't actually want. Because like I think the speed camera things are getting insane.
I mean, this one is definitely something that could go to the courts. Like you as the user of this product, right, you're signing off, right? You're consenting to whatever it is. And unfortunately, that's how it works. What was there was something you sent me not too long ago where it's like if you were actually to sit down and read all of the different privacy statements and user agreements,
Oh,
it
bro,
would
you
take
do
like your whole
nothing.
life. Yeah.
Yeah, you would do nothing, dude. And they make you sign some pretty crazy stuff. I also think there needs to be some laws put into place for consumer protection in terms of like what can be put into an agreement.
Right.
Because I think that's fucking crazy that I can just say, "Oh, I want to throw it in there," and you click the box, so now you can't sue me when you went to Disneyland. And did you hear about
Exactly.
that whole thing?
Yes, exactly. That's the example I was gonna bring up. It's like, there was some incident that happened in Disney World or Disneyland when something happened, but they had, agreed to Disney Plus terms and, of service, and because of whatever happened in Disneyland or whatever, they were not able to, like, sue them for what happened.
Did,
Crazy stuff.
did you see the whole Ring doorbell stuff on this point, where like they're doing this like find your lost dog thing?
I saw that happening, but I never understood what actually was going on.
So basically, they're more or less going to say like, "We are going to look through your footage, but we're doing it to save the puppies."
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right, right. Yeah, that was a moment here, just a couple weeks ago, but I didn't look into what the whole thing
Yeah.
was. Oh,
So
because
like,
someone lost. Oh, and it was also the Nancy Guthrie thing is where it kinda, like, clashed
Nancy
with it.
Guthrie.
Because there was this lady in America who's, like, think she's, like, an old news reporter, and she got, like, abducted, and
Oh
for
yeah, yeah,
weeks, they were
yeah.
trying to find her, and I think this was when it kinda, like, came up. They were like, "Oh, let's check the Ring cameras," or whatever, and I think this was kinda how that whole meme
Hmm.
started to
Totally,
percolate.
totally.
So there you go, folks. Just so you know, if these people around you are wearing these meta glasses, you might be being filmed, even if maybe they're not super aware of it. One of their spokespersons at Meta said, when live AI is being used, we process that media according to the Meta AI terms of service and privacy policy. Okay. So, you've got other people that are signing away your rights at the moment. And that's fascinating. So,
It seems like the world needs new social media platforms, Keith.
as the world needs new platforms without a doubt.
And that's possible, guys. Like, well, for optimism point of view, is that if you really break down like why things are so messed up, a lot of it has to do with centralization. And so, if we get to a point where you actually can decentralize things, things can get a lot less messed up.
Yes, and to touch on kind of some of how and why, the problem that comes up with a centralized company or any company, right, is that you've got the centralization of the resources that are needed to make the product happen. Okay. So for instance, you can't really have Meta without the massive amount of data centers that they have or that they're using from Amazon or whatever. And so what happens is when you decentralize things is you can have a network of people that have made the investment to buy their own sort of data infrastructure, their data center infrastructure. And when you've got that happening at scale across different places, you get benefits from this. For one, now there's no central place of failure. If someone wanted to, for instance, what happened in the UAE, if someone bombs a data center, it's not going to cut off the entire service. Why? Because there's thousands of different choke points across the entire globe. So that's one benefit of decentralization, besides all of the other social things that come out of the fact that everyone else has to agree to use these systems the way that they've been designed to be used. And in that sense, it also creates a more of a democratic approach to how, uh, in this case, software products get built, right? Because the people have to agree to run the software. They have to agree to the way that the software works. Otherwise, the mechanism won't spread. People won't want to do it.
Mhm.
So hopefully
No,
that
that
kind of
that
paints the picture a little bit.
thank you for doing that, because I think that we assume a lot of knowledge too much, and so if I ever am doing that, please always chime in with that. And when you think about that, how many times have you guys heard of things being suppressed? Like, look at our episode that we had on Tuesday with someone who's dealt with a lot of that, right? Or people like losing access to their accounts entirely. That's a very frequent thing. That's becoming very, very big because people are kind of at the point where they're just going for it. They're kind of saying whatever at this point because the world is so messed up. And so these platforms are flexing their muscles, but I do think it is screwing themselves because a lot of times we talked about this recently where I was like, okay, and I said this, so I'll say it out loud. Like, whenever this happens and people get censored, they don't they go and try to build their own Patreon. They don't go try to build their own YouTube. I think that these
Right.
platforms have pushed people to where we're going to go try to build a YouTube. Do you know what I'm saying? And then that changes the dynamics completely because we've never in history had decentralized access to media. That's never happened.
Nope.
That's literally never happened. And I want you to actually, like, if you take something from this, like chew on this. We've never had that.
a fascinating concept.
Because you think about all these other, like, all platforms, or sorry, all problems come back to money and beliefs, right? The money is the system. We've talked about that a lot. We've got previous episodes. The beliefs are shaped from media and the influences on who I give access to said media. You open that up, it kind of happened on a small scale with TikTok. Because I have this theory that maybe it's kind of fucked up, but like I do think we're shaping our own reality, right? And so the enthusiasm that you come to with the problem makes it if you can or can't solve it. And so on TikTok, a lot of people who were really deep in something, they really wanted to solve it. They were willing to try anything. They tried everything and they found a solution. So because it meant so much to that person, they did anything they could. They moved heaven and earth to find the solution. And then they shared it publicly. So then because other people saw that it worked for them, they believed it could work for them too. And then the problem actually got solved.
Mm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think that can happen at a far larger scale the more that media gets decentralized, is my whole thing.
Love it, man. Very well laid out. Um, the one thing that is very centralized that's happening at the moment is the top-down decision being made in the United States to uh, pursue this war in Iran. At the moment, quick update on how all of that is going down. This right here is a visualization of how the traffic in the Strait of Hormuz has dried up since the war in Iran has begun. Now,
Mhm.
to be clear, the U.S. struck Iran alongside of Israel, and an entire sort of war has broken out. Iran retaliated by sending missiles and drones across the entire Middle East region, and also started to block ships from coming through the Strait of Hormuz, which is where about
Whoa.
20% of all of the world's energy is moving through. So this visualization is going to show us uh, right here at the end of the visualization where it's kind of stopped to pretty much nothing going through, to where it's going to loop in just a second to show all of the activity that has been flowing through the Strait of Hormuz before all of this went down. Let's see, it's
That's
about
a
to
lot of
loop
cargo.
in just a bit here. Here we go. It'll restart. So that's what it normally looks like. And then it slows down, it slows down, it slows down. And now there's an actual narrative behind some of this as well that I actually just posted a video about on my channel today. Um, and it has to do with the fact that what's really going on here is not just Iran actually having the manpower to, for instance, shoot all of these ships down and cause a complete chaos in the strait, but instead, a big part of the story here is that there's an organization called Lloyd's of London, and they are one of the largest insurers of maritime shipping. And what happened is Lloyd's of London, all of the different people, the insurers that would normally insure these boats have pulled out. They said, look,
Mhm.
this is too dangerous. We cannot measure the risks and the probabilities of what's happening because, yes, Iran can't shoot every single boat, but any one boat, right, that does get shot down is something that we are having to pay out for, right? So in that case, we just need to pull it and we're not going to even participate in this. And so
Wow.
that has pretty much been the real reason, potentially, why there's been a halt in what's been happening here. And so this has actually prompted a response from the United States of America over the past couple of days. So uh, Trump basically said that he would insure ships that are coming through the entire Persian Gulf, and not only insure them, but he would also have have the U.S. Navy guide them through and protect ships as they go through. Now, obviously, at the scale that we were just looking at, that wouldn't be possible, right? There's no way you could have enough naval carriers to protect every single one of these ships that are coming through. So the real question here is going to be, okay, well, who's going to get access to this insurance? And who's going to get access to this protection from the Navy? And this brings us to another quick statement that I wanted to get from. We've got our favorites here, and they're not our favorites. I just want to. It's a popular news outlet. Hold on, here we go.
No one's more nervous than China. Half their oil imports pass through the Strait of Hormuz. And as of today, the U.S. Navy controls that strait. We already control the Malacca Strait in Southeast Asia, the Strait of Gibraltar, the Suez Canal, and the Panama Canal. The U.S. controls all global shipping choke points. A full naval blockade of China is now possible. Their economy's at our mercy if things ever got saucy. So we're killing two birds with one stone. We stop the number one state sponsor of terror, and we checkmate the Chinese. And on top of that, if this mission's successful, we'll control nearly all of the world. No one's more nervous than China.
So, um, that was his breakdown of the situation there. It's getting interesting. So, once again, Strait of Hormuz has pretty much come to a little bit of a standstill. Ships are literally just sitting there, nowhere to go. Um, Qatar, they basically did a force majeure. I don't really know exactly how to pronounce that or what it fully means, but essentially they've stopped producing some of their oil out of Qatar because they have nowhere to put it. Okay, because now everything's just piling up.
Mhm.
And Trump is going to, try to use the Navy and this developmental finance corporation in the United States to finance the insurance as well as guide ships through, depending upon who. Right, we'll see exactly how that works. One of the things that I've also seen coming out, yeah, very good point, Matthew. We definitely are only getting right one side of the story of what's happening here. Um, this right here was something that I saw come out last night. I don't know exactly how true this is at the moment, but the concept here is that China has suspended diesel and gasoline exports after Iran closes the Strait of Hormuz. Now, obviously, this is about the fact that China is, if this is really happening right now and the Strait of Hormuz is going to be closed for a while, China needs to keep as much of its oil in its country as possible, right? So it's not exporting, right, is not only going to be beneficial to them, but it's going to be hurtful to someone else who needs oil somewhere else. So this whole house of cards here is about to get crazy. I saw reports that in Asia in general, right, because I think it's like 80% of the oil that's coming out of the Strait of Hormuz is going to Asia. There are countries that are basically only going to have so many days left that they can go without having oil that they're importing from the Strait of Hormuz. So now, listen, I'm not an expert in this per se, but when you look at the numbers, Japan gets 90% of its oil from the Strait of Hormuz. That wouldn't be surprising, right? That it might only be days before this starts to have a massive impact on the rest of the world. So, very, very interesting situation right now. It doesn't look like it. It seems like this is only a war that's happening in the Middle East, but this is very quickly going to start to spill over into the rest of the world. Now, anything you want to say?
No, it's yeah, very potentially serious problem. I'm always very curious, much like Matthew said, to see like we're getting a story fed to
Hmm.
us, right? So that's the whole thing that I always try to keep a pulse on is that it, when it is a story and none of us can see, everyone's going to be telling you the best story that benefits them the most, right? So I think that's a very good point that Matthew made. Where try to source sources from all over the place because with something this high stakes, the need for propaganda is at an all-time high.
No doubt, no doubt. Um, quickly, one of the things that we did also see is that jet fuel in Singapore is starting to surge up to highs. Okay, so we're starting to see a little bit of the clapback from some of this. I'm almost done talking about this. We'll move forward in just a second. There's a couple other things that I want to touch on. Iran strikes also have put Dubai's real estate potentially in a little bit of a pause. Okay. Um, there's been a lot of memes about this on Twitter, about the fact that you've got a bunch of influencers that are hanging out in places like Dubai, thinking that, obviously that not expecting rather that anything crazy would ever happen like this. But it is happening, and this is having an impact on their real estate market and probably will for many, many years moving forward. As if anyone didn't know, there was a couple of incidents that have happened in the United Arab Emirates and in Dubai specifically. I think some debris, I think, came down and hit a building in Dubai, and so that has been definitely causing some panic as well as fear in the area. Last thing, another piece of this that has not been covered very much that I just saw is that water is actually one of the biggest things that could also be a problem for the Middle East throughout all of this.
Oh yeah,
So I had never heard this. I didn't really know this,
yeah.
but
They don't have water, man.
they have no water. So all of the water in the Middle East is essentially coming from desalination plants, which means they're taking water from the sea, taking the
Mhm.
salt out of it, and then that is the water that they're using. And well, that's going to be a very uh, centralized process where there's only a few different places that this is being done at. And what people are speculating on here is that Iran might start to target these desalination plants. And if they did that, there wouldn't really be any water throughout all of this entire region if they did it in a certain kind of way. So that to me, I mean, these are deserts, right? So it's there's no natural water around.
Mhm.
Um, I thought to myself, I was like, that would be a really big problem because, like, how do you even fix that once it happens? You know what I'm saying? Like, how long would it take?
Humans need water. Like, they really need water. Yeah, so that'll be an interesting thing to follow. I do, from a market standpoint, like the people stuff is way more important than any of the market stuff. But from a market standpoint, I think all of this will push people to crypto because if any of these choke points lead to a civilization collapsing, their currency becomes worthless, right? So I think out of that fear, I think a lot of people will try to find some sort of safe haven assets on a global scale. What else does that?
Well, I think there actually has been a response in that regard within Iran itself. There was Iranians increasing self-custody Bitcoin reserves amid
Mhm.
the Iran-Israel war. And there was some data that people were doing looking at the Bitcoin outflows that stalled during their internet blackout. And then I guess how, yeah, I'm not actually sure exactly what this chart is, but this entire report here kind of talks about how Bitcoin becomes the financial lifeboat for Iranian citizens. I believe I saw some things about stablecoins as well being used in this sort of a time. You also have the fact that this country is dealing with massive hyperinflation of their currency and the value of uh, the Iranian rial declining over the past few months and years. So, you know, you definitely can't avoid that conversation with what's happening here. It does play a role, how people are protecting themselves with what little they may have in these situations to do with. Um, but yeah, so 100% a part of the conversation.
Yeah, and I also saw something, and I haven't validated it enough, so definitely do your own research on this, but that Iran was using stablecoins and Tether to try to buy
Oh yeah,
things that they didn't have direct access to. And so that's obviously a big part of this as well. So definitely do your own research on all that.
yeah. I actually had talked about that in the video a few months back, because it was coming up because we were talking about why stablecoins, and why American stablecoins, why the Genius Act. And part of it is trying to get back control over stablecoins, right? Because which stablecoin would Iran have possibly used to evade sanctions? Tether. Okay, so the United States is trying to get Tether off of at least out of the U.S. markets, and trying to get more of a control over any access to any form of U.S. dollars. So that's another really important thing about why the Genius Act was so important. That's why the Genius Act got passed with no issues, right? Is because the US really, really wants the United States treasuries that are backing these stable coins to have demand. And they want any stable coins, any use of American dollars in any sort of a form to be within their apparatus, their legal apparatus, which Tether is not, right? So um, hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, because them and Russia were essentially using stablecoins back and forth with one another to settle deals
Mhm.
in trade or whatever. At least the Treasury, right, has actually come out in themselves, and I believe made that accusation.
Here's an interesting comment
Mhm.
on ETH. So ETH will take that spot. It's unlimited funny money, is their perspective. Where I guess they're thinking that ETH will play that role. Interesting to see. You also did mention it's important that there's not a finite supply of ETH, which is interesting, right? Where there'll always be more.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I guess that does kind of, in some ways, make it a little bit of a political thing too. We'll pull up a clip from Chamath a little bit later, talking about some of the issues of why Bitcoin might not be adopted as a central bank
Yeah, but
currency or central bank
isn't
reserve
that not kind
asset.
of defeating the whole point?
Is what not defeating the whole point.
Like when he's saying all this, it's like, well, why do we? Isn't the whole problem the central bank element of it?
For Chamath's statements,
Yeah,
oh,
like
we'll wait then. We'll
okay,
wait, because nobody knows what we're talking about.
okay.
Hold on. Hold on. Couple news stories. Apple yesterday just announced a new MacBook called the MacBook Neo.
Mm,
Okay, so by the way, if you want to hear Chamath talk about Bitcoin, you better stick around. So let me scroll this back and watch this with me because I actually thought this was fast. I was like, what am I looking at exactly? But then eventually I understood what was going on. So watch this real quick.
MacBook Neo, an amazing all-new Mac at a surprising price. To make it, we reimagined how to build a laptop from the ground up, and we used the most recycled material of any Apple product. We started with aluminum because it's light, durable, and just feels really great in your hands. MacBook Neo has a stunning 13-inch liquid retina display for vivid images and sharp details. Its signature Magic Keyboard is super satisfying to use. The multi-touch trackpad lets you click, scroll, swipe, and pinch anywhere on its surface. And the model with Touch ID allows you to instantly.
So I wanted to actually play that. Ben, what was your first reaction to what you saw there?
From which angle? Like the why they did this, the video?
Don't even think about it. What's coming to your mind?
I think it's super funny how this to me is more an expression of their market dominance for when they do something they should have done all along and they're like praised for it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
It's
Yeah.
like this product should have existed for like a decade, but they knew they didn't have to make it because people had money. Now we're all poor.
So my first thought was because I didn't understand the context when I was looking at it. I was just watching this ad and I'm like, it has a keyboard, like it has a trackpad. I mean, what are you selling right now?
Mm-hmm.
But eventually I understood, okay, this is the cheap thing that they're putting out. And last night I was talking to some people and I tried to make the argument that maybe this is what happens. Maybe this is the future of what we're going to see in tech, because everyone's talking about like this deflationary aspect of technology, right? And how prices are going to come down. Now, this isn't really a good example because also the product is simply inferior. But imagine we get to the point to where you start to see, instead of like prices literally coming down, you just get people having access to the same technology that already existed 5 years ago at a much cheaper price than what it did 5 years ago. And it being packaged in this kind of a way and being like, oh, this is this new thing that's coming out, when really it's like, oh, well, at least now you can get a MacBook for $600, even though that same tech you would have had to pay $2,500 for 5 years ago. So maybe that's what this deflationary aspect of AI and all of this technology starts to look like, is like you're getting new product that's old product at a cheaper price. And then everyone else who's got the money to spend, they're the ones who get to capitalize on these huge new innovations that are happening for just the same $2,500 MacBook that you have to pay for now.
Mm.
So anyways,
yeah.
Once again, this isn't really the best example of that.
I think it's decent. Tech is inherently deflationary. And I think that's kind of the whole problem for why they needed a different financial system, or why we do need a different financial system, because the entire dynamics that our whole economic system was built upon are radically changing, right? Because now, like, the rate of deflationary practices are just exponential now because we all can participate in them, right? Like code getting democratized, like people don't fully grasp how crazy that is, right? Because
Talk about what you mean by that.
well basically, like a lot of people have opinions on software right now because it was only made by people who could build the software, because it was just simply so expensive, because the like building something once and maintaining it was just like unlike any other business before. And so now that you or I can go code, like the entire dynamic of the online experience is going to change so dramatically, because think of how many more things are going to be built now where people will take the risk that someone who doesn't have shareholders wouldn't, or right. So like it's a very, very big deal. And I don't think like everything's going to be enhanced, right? So I think why a lot of big software companies are freaking out is because the moat of you can't even touch this space because it'd be too expensive to start, it doesn't really exist anymore. And so that's going to change things so dramatically. Like our world will be like, when you think about it right now, right? Like think about how much we take for granted, like the experience of being able to order Uber Eats, right? How it's just become like a very accustomed experience we're all used to. There are going to be experiences like that discovered week over week. right? Because
Mhm.
we're building some of them, right?
Mhm.
Because you can go solve a problem with a way smaller team, screw over less people because you can just start with a smaller overhead. And so that really does change things pretty dramatically. So if you guys have ever wanted to build something, I would try to think from like a software first angle or the complete opposite, to be honest, because I think that everyone will be looking here. And so I think move
True.
now if you can, or go the complete opposite direction.
Yeah, and the cool thing here is that I think some of what you're also uh illuminating is like if you care about something,
Hmm.
right? This is by far the best time to go out and find or create a business around that thing that you care about.
Totally. Whether it's games, whether it's like music, whether whatever it is, there are massive problems. And sometimes, ironically, like the problem is your competitor, right? And I don't mean like they can beat you. I mean like they've made the industry shit.
Mm.
And so we've talked about this behind the scenes. I'll keep that close to the chest. But like there's people who are like torching the very people that keep their platforms functioning, right?
Mhm.
And so now the thing that you thought was impossible to take on, the people that are using it every day are begging for a life raft to go elsewhere. So there's opportunities everywhere.
No doubt. No doubt. And eventually what's going to happen here is the consumer behavior is going to get more accustomed to like, oh, I can download this thing that's going to solve this very specific problem for me.
Yes, yes. And
And I
and
might be
people are
willing to pay for it.
totally. And people are thinking that like AI will build this stuff in real time. I actually saw a Naval tweet where he basically had said, where is it? He said something to do with gaming. Let me find it real quick.
Mhm.
Because I was gonna reply. I was like, I don't agree with you, but then I just like, oh, it's not worth the time. He's not even gonna see it. Um, Future games will be made for you on the fly, generating gameplay and content based on your micro engagement.
Hmm.
So I don't know if I fully agree with that. Maybe for like story games, but then will the story be that immersive? I've not seen AI tell that compelling of stories yet. Maybe it'll continue to get better. But I also think that people like games because they know they're playing the same game as their friend too. So I'm curious to see how much there is demand for that. Because
That's
if
it.
every game is different, like
Yeah.
you're basically living in a simulation at that point.
That's Inception like. That's making my mind go crazy because I was just recently listening to this like podcast where this guy was like talking about what is reality and whatever. And it's like there's obviously some objective reality, but then there's also some shared experience.
Hmm.
Like uh uh there's also the fact that people rather are like projecting their experience onto you, right? So I'm trying to come up with a good example. The video game is a great example. Like imagine you're both actually playing the same game, but the world looks different. Or let's imagine in real life, you and I, we see colors. This is always the example that's given. We can all identify the same colors, but what if those colors are actually different?
Hmm.
Like, yeah, you can see that that's blue and it's blue for me and you, but what if that blue is actually pink? But we wouldn't know because
Totally.
we're both just always seeing blue as pink. Or
Mm.
I'm always seeing blue as pink and you're always seeing blue as blue.
Yeah.
You know
And
what I
then
mean? But
also,
anyways.
no, totally. And then also like language gets tied into that too. And if you want to go deeper on it, but yeah, that's it. It would be so interesting to see how all of these things develop. But you also like with a lot of the AI expansions that we're talking about, the realities that people are conceiving, like Naval is trying to project into the future. Even if the tech were to continue on its rate of trajectory, we've talked about the bottlenecks of real life things, right? Like policy being a problem, access to resources being a problem, energy, compute. Like all these things will have a role in the progression of these technologies. And so if things don't get like solved soon, I don't know how, like in terms of the geopolitics of the world, like I feel like it's probably going to impact this sector.
For sure. And Naval actually did do a whole talk about some of the stuff on his YouTube. It's called On Artificial Intelligence. And in here, he does make definitely the case to where uh, basically AI will continue to create more demand for software.
Mhm.
But anyways, just wanted people to see this. Haven't even fully watched it yet, but it's really always good to listen to what he has to say.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
super interesting.
so another news here is that we had Morgan Stanley come out and say that they're going to be firing 2,500 workers. So Morgan Stanley getting rid of some people. I also saw how like some of the big banks are like cutting down on their lunch allowance. Um,
What? So, what they get like a little bit of money for lunch every day or something?
yes, and it kind of, I think part of it is because like you're in New York and everything's expensive kind of a thing.
Got it.
So I don't know if it was Morgan Stanley as well, but um, so Goldman Sachs actually upped its late night dinner budget to bankers for $35, also because they're there all the time, right? Because they're literally
Wow.
working, 12 hours a day. So, anyways, interesting stuff happening in the banking sector. Interesting stuff happening across the market. You're continuing
Yeah.
to see these layoffs.
If you guys got an idea, we say it every time, start moving today, because each time one of these people get fired, there's a lot of very highly competent people that have been trapped in a corporate job that are now going to be desperate. And they're going to try new things they would have never tried before. And so the competition will come from them.
That's a really good point, too. That's a really good point. The competition is going to get higher.
Because they won't be able to get a job, right?
Right.
There won't be any to go around. So eventually, the smartest person in the room is eventually going to realize, oh, shit, I probably could have done this myself, but I was too afraid. And then
Really
they're
good
going to go
point.
try.
Wow. Yep. Next news item here is going to be something that I didn't see coming. But the New York Stock Exchange owner, which is ICE, a company called Intercontinental Exchange, they just valued the crypto exchange OKX at $25 billion in a new partnership. So they've made a strategic investment in OKX, and they plan to launch new tokenized stocks and crypto futures products. So, the ICE is now acquiring OKX. I think that's a fascinating reality. We're seeing Wall Street go all in on this, even throughout these times, even throughout the bear market. If you've got the Intercontinental Exchange buying a cryptocurrency exchange, guys, um, this is the future. Okay, like it 100% is the future. They're not making big bets on things that aren't going to last.
No. That's obviously we have to be a lot more patient than we wanted to in crypto to see the kind of price appreciations we wanted, but like the story hasn't changed. It's still being built. People just don't believe it, because if everyone was brought here just simply by price going up, they think that things can't happen unless price is going up.
100%, man. All right, Ben, I've got some things that I need to get your reaction to.
Let's see it.
Today we've got Nikita Beer, who is the head of product at Twitter. He said, today we are revising our creator revenue sharing policies to maintain authenticity of content on timeline and prevent manipulation of the program. During times of war, it is critical that people have access to authentic information on the ground. With today's AI technologies, it's trivial to create content that can mislead people. Starting now, users who post AI-generated videos of an armed conflict without adding a disclosure that it was made with AI will be suspended from creator revenue sharing for 90 days. Subsequent violations will result in a permanent suspension from the program. This will be flagged to us by any post with a community note or if the content contains its metadata, from generative AI tools. Now that's fascinating. We will continue to refine our policies and product to ensure X can be trusted during these critical moments. What are your thoughts on that, Ben?
If they can execute on it properly, I think that's a move in the right direction. We talked about this, was it last episode? Where there was the fake bomb going on and the guy's like, I keep this up because people need to know there's bombing going on. It's like, we know that, dickhead. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to make some money.
Yeah.
So yeah, if they can, I'm always like, it's great in theory, and practice can sometimes be an issue because who's enforcing this? I know that they do say briefly, but I'll wait and see how people get impacted by it. But I can't really see too much of a con there.
Word, man. Yeah. I think it's fascinating that Nikita is so open with the community and continues to like talk and say what they're doing.
You have to be, I think. And I also think that's the direction that the next wave of platforms will go, right? Where there's accountability.
It feels like an open source project.
Yes.
Like he's actually telling people what they're doing.
Totally. Yeah. And that's how it should be done, I think. And yeah, it'll lead to a better outcome when there are repercussions to just objectively bad behavior.
100%. I mean, what platforms were really doing this? Maybe they did it, but without the attention that he gets. I don't know. But people definitely engage with him and listen to what he's saying. All right. So next thing was Chamath. Everyone, so if you stuck around, you got what you waited for. Chamath Palihapitiya, early Facebook employee, investor kind of guy, early Uber investor, huge venture capitalist, multi-billionaire. He basically just dropped a massive warning against Bitcoin and says there's a structural flaw. So let me play this clip for you guys.
Bitcoin, for the most part, at this point, is there's a structural failing in Bitcoin that I think people will need to come and wrap their heads around. The structural failing is that it is not. So if you think about like what is the value maximizing function right now for a crypto asset to be broadly adopted, it needs to have the features that allow a central bank to adopt it. And there are two things that it lacks. One is fungibility and two is privacy. And so Bitcoin fails on those two dimensions. So it can never be a structural holding of a central bank. And that simple thing will keep it in the realm of ETFs and humans. And
Does gold satisfy those conditions?
yeah,
Fungibility,
You have
but not
no-
easily.
both. You have no idea how much the Bank of China owns. You don't know how many ounces they own. You don't know how many ounces I own. When there's a public ledger that says this address has this much,
Hmm.
and you can't really trade it because you know the history and the provenance of that exact token. It's been used to buy this. It was transacted over here, went to this wallet. That lack of fungibility and privacy is a huge deterrent for broad structural adoption. That's what you need to then add another 10x of market cap.
Mhm.
So, is there room for a different crypto asset that solves for the privacy and fungibility? Yeah. And are there projects right now? Yes, but they're very small scale. There's huge issues with them. Those are even more volatile. So Bitcoin's interesting.
I
You
think
So, Ben, what are your initial thoughts on that right there?
I've seen a lot of his older comments on Bitcoin. It seems like a little contrasting to what is there. But I'll also say, like, again, this is like, I guess they're using the whole number go up thing as like the reason for its existence, and I think that's kind of missing the plot, in my opinion. And maybe I'm too pie in the sky because I do understand that everything's very interconnected. But if everything is broken, like, shouldn't there be changes to that? And they're not easy to achieve at all. I'm not like, I am aware of how hard it would be to change financial systems, but yeah, I don't know. He's talking a lot more now for sure. I'm seeing him post so much now.
Well, yeah, I mean, he just started a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting thing, right? He's been on YouTube through the All In podcast for quite some time, but he just started his YouTube channel 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I actually saw that video, like his first video before it even started to take off. I guess they know that I like him.
It's so funny. They're all trying to do that now. But this person said he's complaining that they don't get to hide their corruption, question mark. So that's obviously where your mind would go right away. But there are also national security reasons for why that's dangerous, right? Because like any ability to track all these things can also potentially tell your adversaries, like, you can typically put two and two together in terms of why the reserve would go up or down. You could probably infer what that's being spent on, and then that puts you at a disadvantage to your adversaries. But again, is that if we live in a big old war machine, if that war machine gets eliminated, like, is that still a problem? I don't know. I've not lived in that reality, so I can't speak on it.
Yeah. The lack of fungibility piece, I think, is so interesting because that's a really nuanced part of the discussion that only, I don't know, you don't hear it being talked about a lot. But I don't know that it's actually that relevant. Like, why does it matter if the Bitcoin was used in some other way before? I mean, people don't care about that with physical dollars.
Not at all.
So that one's a weird one. But yeah, no, the privacy thing is a real concern, right? Like, but this is the perfect campaign, right? Like, now the campaign is being had.
Oh, it started now, right? The whole partnership with Beast too, and that kids bank and everything.
Uh-huh.
He's priming for something.
Bitcoin is not the answer, is
Yeah,
what
so
they're trying to say.
Bitcoin can't solve our problems, but this can because
Right.
I own it.
Exactly. So crazy that we're getting to that point. Now, I also wanted to touch on some other drama that's happened with Chamath. I love you, Chamath. I want you to come on the pod one day, but we got to have the real conversations at the same time. So he got into an exchange on Twitter here, and essentially, so Chamath in 2020, 2021 era, he did a bunch of SPACs, okay, special purpose acquisition companies, where he essentially sold people on investing into a company that didn't really fully exist. A SPAC is when you essentially take a company that's already public. All right, let me me back up. You raise money. You take that money and you basically use it to go out and buy a public company. And with that, you've got this idea of what you're going to do with this public company, right? And you're essentially merging it with a private company, which is what you've raised money for, to do some new business venture. So you've basically raised venture capital money, but now you can raise it from the public because you're doing it to go out and buy a public company. So now everyone gets access to private venture capital types of deals through these SPACs that happened. Everyone was doing a SPAC back then. Anyone who had influence was doing a SPAC. All of them went to basically zero. Okay. Blank check companies, you just give the guy the money and figure out what they're going to do. There's a prospectus, but it's venture capital. And venture capital without much of a company actually in place, to be clear. Now, so here's the thing. So someone called him out. I need to actually find the OG tweet because it was deeper than this. And I'm going to do it real quick. But essentially, someone was calling Chamath out about this, and he decided to respond. Now, when Chamath responded, he honestly responded in a way that was pretty wild. Oh man, I got to find this joint. Because it was ridiculous. Okay, so this guy, Evan Genova, talked about how tech podcasts are so boring. He basically was coming at Chamath Palihapitiya. He said, no one cares what Chamath thinks about politics. They want to hear what happened with social capital and why he closed the fund. So he also had an actual venture capital fund called Social Capital that he closed down. So this guy's kind of calling it out. He's basically saying, look, all of these influencers in tech are he said, the host is either someone who couldn't hack it in an operating role. So they're like some VC who's not actually doing it, or some VC who's just doing it to get more deal flow, right? So Jay Cal and all those guys are just doing it so they can get deal flow so that when people want to raise money for their company, they go to them because they know them. Okay, so Chamath clapped back and he said, what happened at Social Capital was several things. He said, personally, I was going through a divorce. It was a really hard time. He said his co-founder spent more time trying to get board seats and credit for deals with outsiders versus doing good work. And he said it was increasingly clear that my returns were sporadic, but big and didn't fit in a classic fund with LPs. He was like, I was a home run hitter in a business where raising new funds invariably led to hitting singles and doubles. In other words, I was making suboptimal portfolio decisions, so I would return capital in order to keep raising funds. This is important to stack the compensation of my team who had far less capital than I did. So basically he's saying he needed to go for home runs and it wasn't what he was trying to do, whatever. But then somebody called him out for real, because they were like, well, really what we really want to know about is about the SPACs, okay, that you had raised all that money from that pretty much all went to zero. So he said, how about all the scams through your SPACs? You never came clean about it. Millions of customers lost money. He says, BS in response. Okay, but this is like objectively true. And this guy over here responds with, it's not BS. I invested in all of them. Your pitches were compelling. Then I lost tons. You made tons. Why? And then this dude said, then you generated capital losses. Did you use those yet? Okay. So guys, in the investment world and in the tax world, you have capital gains and you have capital losses. When you sell an asset for a gain, you have a capital gain, you pay taxes on that. When you sell an asset at a loss, you have a capital loss. What Chamath has said here is that, well, I gave you an opportunity to write off a loss on your capital gains that you must have had. So two things that are wrong with that. First off, that is not an actual answer to the question. Okay. Secondly, capital losses can only be offset off of capital gains. Okay. So you're assuming that these people that you have gotten to invest in your company have made any money or that they have any capital gains to write off, which, brother, you're selling to the public now. You're not selling to institutional investors anymore. Not everyone has gains that they're writing off. People have their money in 401ks and the money's just going up. They're not selling that stuff. So you're telling me now I need to sell my other stuff so that I can have a gain to write these losses off against. My dude, crazy response to what happened to all the people that you scammed is that, oh, actually I lost you money, so you should be happy. So people blasted this dude for this, and it was kind of funny. So Liquidity Capital just said LMAO, pointing it out. And then we got another one. This guy was like, my investors lost ungodly amounts of money. The classy version is, I generated capital losses for investors that can be deployed as strategic financial assets. Absolutely ridiculous. This next guy said, have you said thank you once for your capital losses?
The screen's not on anymore.
Oh no.
That one was funny. That's why I wanted to make sure you showed it.
Have you said thank you once for your capital losses? Mocking the JD Vance incident a year and a half ago or whatever it was. My artists are cooking as usual. CL says, capital losses, did you use those yet? Talking to the person who's clearly destitute and homeless on the side of the street. So
honestly, it'd be really interesting to study these guys because they're so financially successful, or that has to distort your brain chemistry.
True.
Like that, you can't be the same person anymore because everywhere you go, you get treated like a god, even though you were kind of in the right place at the right time. Smart guy, of course, but like when you're like a certain degree of intelligence, like for you, Keith, like I am so confident that you could have probably achieved similar results in the role that he had given the same opportunity. I don't think there's that much of a variance between intellect once you get to a certain point. I really don't. I've met some super, super successful people, and I've never once been like, that guy's way smarter than me. There are people who have like areas of genius where I'm like, oh, that guy would cook me, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had spent the same amount of time as that guy, I bet you I would know it like him.
Right.
Right. So, but like they start to think like, oh, because I figured this game out and because the world is so predicated on money, they get like a God complex, man. And I find it so crazy how like if you try to give any sort of like criticism to these guys, they respond like incredibly insecure high school people.
Crazy, bro. I mean, come on, Chamath. Come on the pod, but come on, bro. Like defend yourself here, because this is just like unacceptable.
I don't think he'd come on a show like this.
What's been so funny is to see how they have that whole crew pivoted so much. Like they weren't always so on the same page. Now they're always all on the same page and don't disagree with each other in the same way as they used to. And it's just like, bro, like, come on, man. Somebody also pointed out how basically that show is just like propaganda for the United States at this point because of David having been on there. But I didn't mean to spend so much time talking about Chamath Palihapitiya, but I also have looked up to him so much, totally, to be fair.
He's a very smart dude, and I loved him when he was leading growth at Facebook. Love is exaggeration. I respected him in terms of what he accomplished with, I think, some help from the government. But besides that, yeah, objectively, he did really well. But when they get into this groupthink thing, they're so far removed from the rest of the world. And we brought that up so many times where, like, why I think this show can become mega successful is because we're just dudes. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. And also, I think the benefit is that, and this is also, I do want to give some grace to, like, him, Logan Paul, we've brought up before, like, us given the same exposure at that time, I may have been even more of a dickhead.
Yeah.
Right? We had the benefit of seeing, that screws up your brain. Right. And then also deliberately creating counterforces for that, like in the form of a discussion like this. And also, why do you think also it's so important for us to have the live chat? Because if we start being like Chamath, people will be like, fuck you. Do you know what I'm saying? Right.
For sure, man.
And so I think that's also kind of goes with the whole thesis of crypto in general, is that I do think that I love meritocracies. Like, I want the best person to win, but I should be given the fucking opportunity.
Right.
Like, as a kid in Canada, I would look at all these business builders and I'm like, I can never compete with these guys. Where the fuck am I going to get money from in Canada? Same happened in sports too. Like, I was better than a lot of American football players, but because I was from Canada, I never had a chance. I think that's stupid. I think that the world should be opening up and be more democratized. If you're the best, fucking win. And if you won last time, why aren't you coming back to play again? Because you're afraid of losing now?
Right.
Like, that's a whole thing that Jeff Booth talks about, right? Where we've never lived in a truly free market. Because if you can accumulate enough resources to where I can basically bully you into submission with legal fees, that ain't a free market. That's bullshit. We lost you.
Oh, no. Promise.
What's up, chat? How are we living? You are still humans. Yeah, I guess. That's what we are, for sure. Please don't change, you two. We'll change all the time, but hopefully in positive ways. And I'm sure you guys will grow along with us. You actually have eyeballs still. I don't know that one, but Noxo, I saw one thing that they said earlier. Always great contributions from all y'all in the chat. You guys are all super awesome, and we really appreciate you hanging out with us. You make this so much more fun. But they said, can you really enact change without a war? And I think you can, but it takes opting out. I think that's kind of what crypto is, right? You don't protest, you just don't give it energy.
Yeah.
And you have to understand. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, yeah.
You have to understand that decentralization is possible, and what is decentralized, right? Like that's really, really important, because then if that becomes like, okay, this is really like the thesis of crypto. That's why it's so important to go read the Bitcoin white paper, guys. Because that was the foundation this was built on. And I don't even think Satoshi was like, okay, Bitcoin's going to solve the problem like we talked about. I think Bitcoin is a marketing vehicle for what may eventually solve the problem. And so if you believe in this future, guys, don't put your time, energy, and resources towards something that is counterintuitive to that. Yep. Right? Just because if you chase number go up, then the people who have the money to make the number go up will make you chase things that put you in the situation you don't want. Right? Because everyone who's in crypto is like, oh, money is bullshit, money is fake, but then they're worried about the price of their crypto in money. And I understand that, of course, it's going to be like a transitionary period, but if we can build economies and ecosystems that don't actually have to live through that, then it gives you more choice. And we're getting more options day over day. And we need builders who care about this stuff, who understand this stuff, to build awesome shit.
That's it. So come join us. Come join us in building all this stuff out. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying like the game is tilted to the wealthy. It always will be, as long as we want their money. The only reason these guys have power is because we're operating in a system where they won.
Love it, man.
But then even doing that will be expensive, and I have no skills. So I've been thinking about opting out of this stuff. So I think the best way you protest something is you do what you have to do, but on all the time that is yours, you direct the energy towards getting closer to that outcome, right? So if you're saying you don't have any skills, go learn them. Like YouTube is an endless resource. AI is even an endless resource for free, right? So the ability to acquire skills is just like so easy there now.
Thanks, RD. Thanks for sticking around and moderating the chat with us.
Oh, always. RD is an absolute legend. Thank you, RD. Have a good one. We had someone do a super chat earlier that we didn't acknowledge, so I want to apologize for that. It was a while back, so I don't even know if I can get back that far.
Yeah, it won't let me either.
So let me see. Fan funding, super chats. Yeah, I got it here. Cool. It was from Jason Jordan 7482, and they said perspective is everything. And I would completely agree with that. And sorry for not acknowledging this earlier, but hopefully you're still here with us. And if not, hopefully you see this in the replay. We really appreciate it.
Most definitely.
But sorry, I monopolized the conversation. Go ahead with the next point.
Well, the next piece that we got to look at, this was fascinating, y'all. Polymarket. There was a moment where there was a nuclear attack market. So Polymarket had created a market that would monetize a nuclear attack amid increasing concerns that bets are happening among government insiders who can make military decisions. There was a nuclear weapon detonation by 2027 that was trading at 22% probability. Okay. And eventually, they actually took it down, potentially after this went super viral. So here we are, folks. We've got it to the point to where the actual nuclear attacks themselves are becoming bets. They deleted it. And this one here, Polymarket History said, the reason was that, I don't know if this is true, but it says, if the prediction becomes true, the winner might not exist anymore. How dark is that?
It's so dystopian every single day. But we do have agency over this, right? Like our time and our energy and whatever resources we do have, they do hold power. But anybody who already has a lot of it and they know you can't get it, they're going to convince you that this is everything, right? Like, oh, you're not relevant because you don't have this. It's like, okay, I don't agree with that. But yeah, I think Polymarket is fucked. Excuse my French, but like that's crazy.
Yeah. So I was like, oh man, that's not something that we want to watch happen in real time, or just have someone be incentivized. Once again, here, I mean, obviously, you're not going to win either way, but
no, war is so freaking, it's absurd. It's so sad.
So this guy, I'm actually just now realizing maybe this is a little bit of a joke account. I don't even know anymore. Suhan Lee IQ 276, the world's highest IQ holder, Now I'm gonna have to like Google him and see if he's real at all. But this guy posted this concept of one of the plans that could help to solve this equation with the problem with the canal is, excuse me, with the Strait of Hormuz, is to just create a canal. And he kind of outlines it step by step and why this canal right here would basically solve the whole problem, right? Just cut a canal through the middle of that and then make it happen. And I saw this and I thought this was kind of funny. Um, but I don't even know if it was meant to be funny, but it just kind of made me think like, imagine you have a canal like right next to the ocean. It's like, well, what do you like? Why are you just go over the ocean? But no, um, I don't. I think it wasn't even really meant to be funny. I can't understand if this is supposed to be humor or not.
Sharp is saying that the world highest IQ holder, ironically, is that person.
Oh, okay, okay. So maybe it is actually real. I just the reason that this didn't make sense in my head, and maybe I'm missing something here, is just that I mean, how long is that going to take to do?
Yeah, it's
For
not-
one, like I think the
and that
problem.
wouldn't be a safe job either.
Yeah, I mean, like now you've got a war happening right there as well. So not sure if that's actually going to happen. Um, so yeah, I just was like, okay, but to be fair, why wouldn't this have been something that was done a while ago too? Right, like that could have been very useful to think. Oh, we don't want to have one choke point. There should be at
Mhm.
least another way to get through this area because we have our people that we don't like over here. Right.
Yeah,
So, anyways, I don't know.
it all seems like a lot. We're talking before we started recording where Charles made the point our episode with him where he said, I don't need to like convince anyone to use my technology. Eventually they're going to beg me to use it kind of deal. I'm paraphrasing him, but I do think that more and more people are going to eventually get to the place where like, what could possibly make this less messed up? And I do think that people will find blockchain, but I mean, it's
Blockchain is gonna cut a canal through the middle of the
definitely
Strait of
not.
Hormuz.
But I think that may be what makes people start realizing what it is. Right. And educating them on the concept for why that exists. I think that some nation states will probably start adopting different blockchain protocols to run their operations and things will be less messed up there. And then eventually the market wins, hopefully. But yeah, no, I don't think it's going to could do construction blockchain. But yeah, it's definitely super interesting because these problems are stuff that it's so funny how a small passageway for boats becomes the main character on a global stage because like if that doesn't show you how stupid our world is, I don't know what does. Do you know what I'm saying? Like how dumb this all is where like we're going to go down over this.
hmm
This is so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, because also, what is it? Someone said in the chat earlier, I think it was like, well, what exactly is this actually about? Like, I have no idea, honestly.
Yeah. And
Like,
then
what's
there's
actually happening right now? I don't know.
I don't, it doesn't seem like anyone knows. Like yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So back to Polymarket real quick. Better and Polymarket have, in some sort of a way, done a partnership. I don't actually know what Better is. You know what it is?
I do. Yeah. So it is Jake Paul's gambling app.
Okay. So they are combining with Polymarket to do a prediction market that will make Better a super app in 2026 is the term that's being used as a super app of betting, I guess. So this is something that's fascinating. Um, you know, we've already talked about this a ton today, so not too much else to say, but Jake Paul, everybody's moving towards this stuff. Um, I think those are some of my major points that I was willing to touch on for today. Just a couple of memes for the folks. So we had this whole thing with the McDonald's CEO going on, right?
Mhm.
And he says it just got more absurd. McDonald's $18 million a year CEO is now on camera describing beef notes and tempered cheese. He's breaking down a Big Mac like a wine tasting. So he's doubled down is what's happened here because he
Okay.
kind of started a trend, right? You got
Oh,
Burger
big
King,
time.
A&W, and everybody. Wendy's also did a reaction. So just real quick, I'm not going to play this whole video, but here's what he's doubled down on here.
On my right, hey everybody, we are here to do another spectacular McDonald's taste test. And I've got on my right here the classic McDonald's Big Mac, which you all know and love. I certainly love it. And then we have our chicken Big Mac.
I can't with this guy, bro.
On our menu before, and it's coming back to make a reappearance. So we're going to do a little comparison between the two, starting with, of course, the iconic McDonald's Big Mac. So here we go. First, visual appeal is very strong. Looks fantastic. Can't wait to bite into it. The cheese is nice and tempered.
This guy's so far removed from their customer base, bro. Like, who the frig would say that when they open it up?
I have no idea who he was trying to reach. And then I saw some memes that came out about this guy. It was a different video, I guess, but this guy said there's a guy out of frame with a gun pointed at him.
A question recently came in on my Instagram. How often do I eat at McDonald's? I would tell you it's a lot, probably 3 or 4 times a week. Sometimes it might be a breakfast, sometimes it might be a lunch. But hey, one of the perks of the job, you get to eat at McDonald's a lot.
Maybe it's the $18 million too, buddy.
Yeah, I think that might make it worth, a little bit of the damage you're doing. This guy says he calls McBS on that one in particular.
That's good. I like that.
Another meme moving forward, we had a senior agentic engineer doing his job. So I think the joke here, or the idea here rather, is even just a senior agentic engineer is kind of like the new title that's going to be continuing to come about, which means that essentially someone who's like a prompt person, right, who just knows how to type in prompts on ChatGPT really well, or Claude or Cursor, rather, like, to be realistic. And this is what their job is going to be like, just like basically they become the assembly line of code. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a fascinating way to phrase it, and a visual for it, right? Like, it's come full circle. Where we used to be like the machines, and now the machines, like, you get what I'm saying?
Yes. It's a fascinating thought to me. So not necessarily funny, but just kind of potentially real of how things are going to look. Let's see this next one. Gen Z, 3 seconds after being able to afford a house.
That's crazy.
So, pretty wild there.
Them maintaining house prices, though, like, for them to do that may be what makes the whole thing fall. Because, like, there's no buyers for these things. And so many people have so much of their wealth wrapped up in this fake concept, right? Where they'll do anything they can to keep the prices up. But when you're fighting market forces that aggressively, I just think that's going to wake people up to how money works so much more. Because, like, how do you do that without making the cost of things that are already crazy go up that much more?
One thing that people have, or that's on the side of the narrative around this, is like, younger people, we've all kind of thought or kind of understood home ownership is not really like the answer to everything.
Yeah, it's not it.
So because of that transition might be a little bit smoother, where you're used to renting, but the prices of rent are still going up, right? So it's still the same problem. Don't get me wrong, but home ownership alone might not be the thing that messes with people. It'll just be like, holy crap, I literally can't afford to pay my rent, and therefore I could be homeless or whatever. But the dream of buying a home, at least, has probably been dead for our whole generation.
Yeah, it was never really even part of it.
Yeah.
Especially not in Canada, dude, because there's not really, if you wanted to like live somewhere where like a normal person could afford it as a young person, and you didn't inherit money, you'd have to move to like hours away. Like where no one lives, dude. So you better have some Starlink in that joint, because you're not seeing like much going on.
Right. We brought up a couple weeks ago, I think it was, when Naval kind of tweeted, he was like, if you're unwilling to defend your country in time of war, then you're not, then you're
deleted it?
not
He
a
deleted
citizen.
it?
And this guy said he deleted it. So.
Yo.
He said, deleted this tweet as soon as an actual war popped off from Derek Guy.
Can we confirm that he actually did delete it?
No, I can't confirm it. It's just, for me, just in this case, a meme.
In a meme. Okay.
But, I mean, that got enough traction to where I think it might have been true. Anyways. Nick O'Neill and Clemente at it again with another funny video here. This one's, it's not super funny, but it's also just interesting to think about. I don't know a whole lot of software engineers.
I'm a software engineer and I had to start up. Oh my God, bro, you're a software engineer? Have you heard of OpenClaw or Claude Code? Yeah, I've heard of it. I don't really use it though. Oh my God, please do not tell me that you're writing software by hand still. Yeah, I do. My boss says I write some of the best code on the team. Oh my God, bro, people like you are going to be laid off in the next like 3 months. Have you like heard of Square and stuff like that? Do you not use any of these tools? No, I don't. Oh my God.
That is how Twitter's like.
You're going to end up being
Facts.
a member of the permanent underclass.
They actually talk like that too.
That's really how they should have made sure it was framed, because like that's how people talk on Twitter. You're right. Yeah.
That guy, he has this one meme of himself that he posts every time the prices go up. It's like, y'all sold?
Yeah. Yeah.
He posts that every time the numbers go up. But yeah, it is that hyperbolic. And I think just because there's so much emotion out there, and also now there's money to be made by getting people afraid or like hyped up. And so it's just, if you're pushing to the latest tools, it's like there's so much money being thrown around. So it is that crazy.
Yep. This one, a little edgy. There was this video circulating around of Bill Clinton as he was like going through the discovery process of looking at like the Epstein files and whatnot. And he was like, he let out like a little smirk or a smile while he was looking at the files. I'll just try to find it real
Clinton,
quick.
Bill? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Sorry, Bill Clinton. Yes.
Yeah. That shit was crazy. Who knows what he was thinking when he was looking at it, but it certainly was not a good look.
Yeah. And there's no telling what he was looking at, right? So I'll play the thing real quick, right? So that we can see what happened.
Let me see it. Okay.
Is this real?
Yeah, man.
Mr. President, we have about 5 minutes remaining in the majority's first hour. So I just want to ask you some questions related.
It's a lot harder to hate someone who's that old. It almost seems like this was always the plan to expose it, but like, let's expose it when everyone's so old that like they got the whole senile card going for them.
Let me show you the funny stuff that I got from this. Hold on.
Another turning point, a fork's fucking.
I don't know if that's copyright or not, so I'm gonna take the volume out. But so I just thought that was kind of funny. But you were saying that everyone's old, so it's like, you know.
I'm sure they're banking on that a little bit. And they even kind of, when they're talking about this stuff, like I saw Hillary get like very frustrated by questions, and it's like, she's like, it's crazy that you would even ask me these questions. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, this is a massive, like, world-bending, breaking conspiracy that the global elites are crazy. Like, I think we can ask you some questions.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you showed up to testify, right? I don't know. I didn't watch any of that one, but yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, I'm going to move on. This one was pretty freaking good right here. This is some AI footage.
Trying to get it going.
Zuckerberg and Elon Musk going at it.
Oh, and a big right hand from Zuckerberg.
This is crazy.
He's hurt. He's hurt. Zuckerberg with the finish.
That's shockingly good, though.
I know, dude. Like, it looks really, really
pretty
good.
Close.
Like, holy moly.
Zuckerberg would win that fight, too.
Yeah. So this guy, Autism Capital, said your account is suspended. I didn't get it at first.
Because like, Elon?
It's on X, yeah.
Dude, yeah, man, how are there not laws saying, like, there needs to be like watermarks all over this thing, or a big warning? Like I can't, if you go to buy cigarettes, there's like cancer lungs on there.
Facts.
But this doesn't have a massive warning. Like, that is absolutely insane.
Yeah, facts, bro. Just circulating out there.
I feel so bad for older people.
No chance.
Like,
no
they
chance.
shouldn't even use a phone anymore, bro. Like, for social media, like, stay off that thing.
Right. Chase Passive Income, one of my absolute favorites. Why is everything written by AI these days? This is his wife apparently texting him saying, I'm sorry, but it's over. Here are the divorce papers. He says, not reading that AI slop. So I thought that was a funny one. I I guess the hyphen, right? I'm sorry, hyphen, but it's over is also kind of like a tell of all of the
the end
stuff.
dash, the long dash.
Yeah. Yep. Moving on, this guy talks about corporate dude says POV, the guy who invented circle back.
All right, guys, this is a lot. How about we just circle back?
What did you say?
Like, there's a lot going on. Maybe we just push through it.
No. The other part.
Circle back?
Yeah, get on the boat right now.
Okay, so we are here. We're just gonna circle back.
That's genius.
I know, this could be like weeks or months.
Even years.
Or just never at all. Exactly. Phenomenal.
It's incredible.
A little bit of corporate culture, the circle back, something that you never get back to. Now, this guy, Bodhi, local SEO, he made a very serious statement here. He said, if you follow a business influencer, watch their original videos from when they first started out, there's a ton of insane sauce in those videos. Watch this Gary Vee video from 14 years ago today. Insane how early he was. Have you seen this at all? I'm sure.
I probably have, but I'm not sure the specific one.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely go back and see what he said. But then Chase Passive Income with another banger in my eyes. He came out and he said, I prefer the much earlier content. Just got my hands on the sonogram of Alex Hormozy from 1992. The lessons I've taken from this have already made me $3 gazillion.
Whoa.
So took it there. He took it there. And then, I don't think I meant for that to be in this spot. So I think that might be the end of my memes for today. The other thing we could go back to is talking community. Talking community. Our previous episode with Leonard had some interesting comments. Definitely some people who were feeling a certain way about what he had to say. We addressed some of that during the show. Deet Rifa 2456, I guess, came to our defense on that moment in particular. He said, screw that guy who said he's not watching anymore. This is one of the most informative podcasts available on YouTube. Keith and Ben, appreciate you guys' work and loved every guest you brought on. Keep up the hard work and we'll keep watching. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Let me see. And then Brandon S22, he said, I'm like, well, we should start thanking Ben 2026. That's the new motto. So this is from this moment right here. That's very dystopian, my dude.
I completely agree. Yeah. I comment on it whenever I walk past people, and so many people that I live near, they're like, oh, I hadn't even really thought about that. I'm like, well, we should start thinking.
That was pretty funny for sure. Very nice for Flip's sake.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Let's see.
There's someone who I think, or never mind, wrong one.
Cool.
Matthew, appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, Matthew. Always, man. This Ape Grip said, yo, what? I watched both of you guys. Biggest surprise I've seen on YouTube. Glad to have Leonard back at it. So, yep. Just wanted to show you guys some love. Appreciate you guys for coming through. Yeah. So, and then, Ben, you had something that happened that you might want to share with everyone over here.
Yeah. So I screenshotted it because I thought he might delete it. And so he has since deleted it, but he left. There's another comment there. So can you show on the sheet the screenshot that I have up there? Yep. Please and thank you. Sorry, I just have multiple screens here, so it gets messed up. So on a video for one of my apps called Follow Buddy, it's an app that allows you to see who unfollowed you on Instagram. And so the guy, because it's got a free trial, and then after, if you want to use it, it is paid. And so he says, I would love to know his real name and where he lives, referring to me. I got something for him. I'll pay $100. So my app that was $5 was not worth the investment to use, but $100 for my whereabouts to assault me was a good investment. Whoever tells me where Ben lives and his full name. And so I replied back to him, not really worth reading that, but he's on his other comment that is there. Like, clearly this is, I said to Keith after I got this, I was like, this just makes me really sad that we've built a system where that he feels like that's the proper course of action, right? Where he could just go use a different app or not use the app, period, or not care to have the problem, but instead threatening assault was like the course of action, and you don't get that way just by accident. And so I think this guy needs some love. I think it's also a big thing that we want to make sure to do. Yeah, right here. So if you could go over, I've linked that video. Just go show him some positive comments. Like, I know it's not exactly the easiest because like he's roasting me, but you wouldn't spend the time doing this on something that you could just avoid if you didn't want it, unless you've been through a lot of stuff. And so if we could even get a few people over there to try to go give him some compliment or like make him feel seen, I think that could have a really positive impact. And I think within the comment section period too, we want to foster that community within our comment section to, even when someone is being a hater, I don't want you guys to attack them ever. I'd rather educate them, kill them with kindness in terms of a way, because a lot of people have never had that. They've never had that, right? And so it's crazy what neutralizing can happen when you just show someone that they're seen and appreciated. And so if we could go over there and just give them some love, honestly, because I think that if we do that more, people will hate a lot more, because there's no way he got there without going through some hard shit. So he's, verified 2K105. I think I have that video here. You don't have to watch the video because you won't like it. But if you could just go to his comment, give him a few positive things. I'm a very big believer in like the butterfly effect of things, where if you can break because like I've seen it happen in real time, right? When something happened that went to the people's view of the world and you break that cycle, they're forced to question so many things. Like one example that I'll give is in a bar. Like a guy bumped into me and he dropped the beer, but then he was like, oh, this fucking asshole, like this like preppy looking prick. Like he basically was like saying that stuff out loud. It was completely his fault, right? But then I went and bought him a beer and I saw his brain explode, right? Because a lot of times people are angry, but like they're pointing their anger at something or someone they don't even actually know. That anger is you, right? And so you can only solve your own stuff. And until you do, much like Django said, you can't give what you don't have. And sometimes it really takes like breaking that cycle to be like, okay, this guy had no reason to be nice to me, and he was. How could someone do that? Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, please only nice stuff whenever possible.
Love it. Yeah. So as you guys saw, I just left him a little comment as well. Just, you said the link is in the description of the video?
Yeah, it's at the very bottom. And I have his handle. Just say it's verify something, something, something. Go over there. Just give some positive energy.
Love it, dude. That right there is how things change. So Ben, what else is on your mind? Anything else you want to chat about? Chat. Also, if you guys have anything you want to chop it up about real quick.
So this is here. That's fair, but it definitely was a douche move. But it also comes with the territory a little bit. Like I'm selling a product that is kind of low vibration. Like to find out who unfollowed you, if you care about that, obviously your priorities probably aren't in the right place. So it comes with the territory, and you're right to say that douche move. But the only way you break that cycle is by get them going through something they've not experienced before, right? And so I'm not saying if he interacts with your nice comment being mean to continue it, but sometimes the only way to stop something is by doing something that doesn't make sense, right? Where, of course, if we're talking tit for tat, I should have roasted him. And I've made that mistake before, going back with people in the comments and like doing exactly what we're referring to. But I've seen that the alternative just has way better outcomes.
Absolutely, man. Yep. There was, I think, Matthew, I think I know what you're talking about. And I'll have a little bit of a backstory because I just went to look at what my most recent song is. And I have to give y'all a backstory to it because otherwise this is going to look pretty sus.
What is it?
All right. So everyone, as you know by now, we really, really, really are trying to get our reviews up on Spotify. All right. So listen, if you could do us the massive favor of going to Spotify, clicking play on one of our episodes, checking us out over there if you haven't already. Maybe go back and scroll back and watch one you haven't seen yet. Click the play button over there. By the time you do, we're going to put out, by the time we get to 100 reviews, Ben and I are going to put out a custom playlist from us both. So you guys can get in on the action of our tastes, come vibe out with us, listen to some music with us.
Totally. Yeah. 100%. And then maybe like for the Patreons, when we eventually launch that, we can think about songs to add to the playlist by votes and stuff like that. But why this is really important, guys, is because with some of the stuff that we're talking about, like there is potential to either get like suppressed or it's just a very good idea to have be spread across a lot of platforms, right? And so the bigger that we become on Spotify, the more security that gives us to touch certain topics, bring on certain people with less risk, because it just becomes glaringly obvious if that's happening. And you're kind of screwed if you're only on one platform, right? Whereas if you're spread across other places, you aren't as screwed, basically.
Yeah, 100%. So I have to justify why I'm listening to Pink right here, all right? Because it needs to be understood.
What? That one?
Yeah.
Hell
And
yeah.
so what happened was I ran into this tweet earlier today as I was doing some research for the episode, and this was just hilarious. Let me play this for y'all real quick.
Can I make a confession?
Yeah.
Growing up, when I was like 12, 13, I loved listening to your music when I was sober. Like, what doesn't kill you makes you... Yeah.
That's Kelly
Dropping
Clarkson.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my God.
But that's fine because I'm Kelly Clarkson.
No,
today.
yeah, you are Kelly Clarkson today. No, but oh my gosh, no.
Yo, that's crazy.
Guys, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry.
You're good.
You're good. So I took a nap before I came on here today, and I literally woke up 5 minutes ago.
But yeah, I just thought that was honestly, it was really cool how she reacted, and like they were really nice about all of that, and you could tell she was pretty embarrassed by that. But
that's wild. To be honest,
funny.
when she was singing it, I was like, yeah, that's Pink. So damn. I have heard that Pink puts on one of the best live shows out of any performers.
Fascinating.
So if presented with the opportunity and you like their music, definitely worth going to see it.
Yeah, man. Oh, that's something I haven't done in a very long time.
A concert?
Yeah, dude.
Man, you should look through who's playing in Toronto and come through at some point for a concert, because everyone stops through here, right? So take a look through the summer lineup and then plan to come whenever you see someone that you want.
Heck yeah. Do you guys have like a flagship festival?
We got a few, dude. Like there used to be OVO Fest, which was Drake's whole thing. He doesn't do that as often anymore, but he still sometimes usually performs like once a year kind of thing. We also have Caribana, I think it's called, where it's like a Caribbean festival. That's very popular. I've not really participated. We also have an electronics music one called Veld, I think it is. So yeah, we got a lot.
Word. Why do y'all have a Caribbean festival?
We're like, it's one of the most multicultural cities in the world, right? So we've got like everything of everything.
Fascinating.
Like literally everything. So like the food is fantastic here because it's like authentic from every place, which is super cool. We're very spoiled in that regard. It's also so cool to have like so many different views of like life, world, family, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And so been very spoiled with that growing up around here. And I already talked about my elementary school a bunch, but yeah, if you want to be there for that, apparently it's a lot of fun, but you just let me know. But
man.
Two other things for you guys is that on YouTube in particular, they're always trying to do sentiment analysis or like happiness, basically criteria. And so two of the things that they've been rolling out as of late, they always test features to see if they get used. One is hype. So like underneath the video, I don't even know if it's on web, but it's definitely on mobile. If you're ever given the option to like hype a video, if you could hype our video, obviously we'd appreciate that tremendously. That stuff does matter a lot. And then also, if you're ever shown like a survey of our video, because after you watch it, they may give this to you, those matter a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So if you give us like a 5-star and then select, was it very informative? Like pick whatever makes sense for you. That stuff goes a long way in pushing our channel.
Hundo P, guys. Super helpful. The hype feature, it's still rolling out. So if you're not seeing it, it's probably just that. But would love to get some hype from you guys. It does make a difference, especially for something that's long like this, guys. Like YouTube needs a signal that there's a reason to watch.
That's the whole thing. Our stuff just really doesn't get pushed very much because with content that's this long, it's also why our clips channels will be a big driver of growth for us as we continue to get those more optimized. But we're competing against Joe Rogan, like these massive podcasts that have, because how many other pieces of content are this long? It's very not, right? So we get put into buckets on YouTube. And so that's why it takes so much longer to get the flywheel going on something like this, because it is just a far higher investment. So if you guys support us in any of the tools that these platforms give to you, it means the world to us. We also read through all the comments like we've said, so we just really appreciate it.
So I can see it here on my phone. I'm on one of our pods. I take the comment box, I swipe right. It gives me the hype thing. I click hype, and then it's like, oh, you want to hype? I'm going to hype it up. You feel me? So that's what it looks like, folks. Appreciate you so very greatly.
They give you a certain amount. I believe it's every 24 or 48 hours. And so if you're not going to use it anywhere else, please use it here. You know what I mean?
Show us some love, folks.
Yeah.
It actually is interesting. Okay, so that's how it works. Because I'm trying to understand the mechanic, but it's like, because there's so many people who are watching us now that like this is their favorite thing, right? But so you need a way to be able to say, this is my favorite thing that I'm watching.
Yes.
Other than just the watch time itself. So it's interesting. I guess that's kind of how they look at the hype points potentially in some way.
Yes, all these different metrics and tools that they give you, it's like viewer satisfaction is really what they're trying to go. And that's why watch time is the most important metric. First, you need to get clicks, and then watch time matters the most. But these are like further satisfaction criterias that go above and beyond the watch time.
Yeah, because you might not be able to watch. It's a 3-hour long podcast. Right? You might not be able to watch the whole thing, but that doesn't mean that it's not your favorite thing to watch when you do get the chance.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
So whether it's us or whether it's other creators that you really like, these things matter so much for like the growth of their message, of their business, all those things. So that's why we bring it up, because these platforms just throw tools at people and they don't even really educate them on how to use it
at all.
Instagram was brutal for that because they were the king of stealing features. And so they would just throw stuff on there all the time. And I'd get so many DMs being like, how do I use this, Ben? Man, I was thinking about this with my girlfriend last night. I was like, I've replied to probably like thousands of people's DMs over stuff like that. Because when I was first starting out on YouTube, I literally replied to every DM with the voice note.
That's crazy.
It was so much time. And I was like, it's building goodwill. I don't know if I got any of it, but it was fun too.
Good stuff, man. What else you got for us, Ben, or the chat?
Yeah, I'll open up the chat and then we'll wrap up if you guys have nothing else. But we appreciate all you guys chilling with us big time. Another great way to grow the community is just simply sending it directly to a friend that you know may like this, right? Or sharing it on other platforms. Like we're on Twitter, like retweeting there is super helpful. Any of those things, they mean a lot to us and we really greatly appreciate it. And the more leverage that we have, I think the more good that we can do within the world too, right? Because the messages that are the loudest typically break through. So thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Yeah, Brand One, he said, I grew up learning to believe the hype. And then
fair.
Matthew caught on. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype.
That's it.
So good stuff, guys. Appreciate y'all for
Appreciate
stopping through.
And then, are we doing that extra episode tomorrow?
Yeah, dude.
You have the time?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
A triple live stream.
Yeah, we're gonna go live tomorrow, guys. What time are you free?
Same time.
Okay, cool. We'll be live tomorrow, same time. It'll be a good one, and I'll start preparing for that right away after this. And then right here, what's the most exclusive pair of shoes each of y'all have had? Loved the sneaker talk earlier. So I've never been a huge sneaker guy, but I love like flipping, collecting, selling stuff. So I waited in line with my buddy who was big into it, and I won Yeezys. They were like the black ones with the red writing. I won them, and then I traded them for NMDs and cash. So I guess NMDs are the most like fancy one that at that time. How about you? Have you ever had like hype shoes?
It's actually pretty funny. The only time that I really bought some hype shoes was actually only a couple of years ago. I bought some Jordan 11s.
Let's go.
And I honestly don't know what you call the colorway. It's like the most basic one.
Okay.
Where it's like black with the white bottom.
Got it. Those are nice.
Yeah. So, and that was funny because I did it because this is when I was going through this breakup. And I had to like, just in general, I needed to like cash out some money. So I like, cashed out a little bit of cash because I needed to pay for school. And then I like went on a little shopping spree. So I got like a little necklace. I got like some
go.
stuff because I was dealing with this
Swag
breakup. I
up.
was like, trying to deal with that. And then I end up hanging out with this girl that is breaking up with me. And I'm wearing these shoes and she's like, you don't wear shoes like that.
She knew. That's funny.
Oh my God, that's too funny. You definitely called me out there. You're right. I don't
That's
actually wear
hilarious.
shoes like that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And so one last question before we wrap it up. So Matthew, always amazing contributions, questions. You're a legend and we appreciate having you here. But he said, can I ask what your vision of a mature memes and markets community looks like? So in terms of community, I don't know if we'll get to decide that. Like, of course, we'll try to foster it. But in terms of an ecosystem from a content perspective, we have a lot of plans to expand the ecosystem. So we basically want to try to find people that we feel align with us to give you the actual direct from the source information or perspective from the pockets of the internet, right? So like in our future thing, like the brand will be memes and markets, but it'll grow beyond Keith and I. This will be like the flagship show, but there'll be different. Basically, we want to try to solve gaps. So like if we feel like there's people who aren't being served, who need information, we'll try to bring it to them at a level that they can actually consume. And that'll be present across Twitter, YouTube, all the platforms. And eventually we hope to add more platforms to that as well. But really the core thesis reigns true that you phrased it really, really well. How did you?
It's always trying to say something along the lines of helping people to understand and have the vocabulary to discuss and help improve the systems that are constantly affecting them without their awareness sometimes, right?
Totally. Yeah, no, I think that's very well said. And so basically we're going to build different IP brands to solve those problems, especially the ones that we know we can't solve directly. We'll try to go find people to partner with that can, and then basically give them a megaphone to amplify their message, because there's a lot of stuff that I've learned over the last 10 years of working on social media that like if people knew these skills, they could amplify their message way faster. So we're going to try to build a whole on ecosystem from that. And eventually I want to have a bunch of different shows. One that I've talked about with you, Keith, is I want to build create like the melting pot show, which basically I want to have a correspondent from like every niche pocket of the internet. So like someone who self-identifies as left, someone who identifies as right, and have us in like one big call.
That'd be so cool.
I think that would be so cool.
Yeah.
I think that would be absolutely amazing. And that's what we see. So much more to come. We've been working in the background on this all the time. Like Keith and I don't really sleep. We work on this all the time, but we're starting to build enough leverage where we'll be able to do more of the other stuff.
Yep. Great question, Matthew. Excited to have you be a part of that. I think your input as well will definitely help in thinking about how this all looks. So we'll be excited to continue to work with you on that.
100%. Yeah, no, we definitely appreciate it tremendously. And one question they said, do I have my own show? Yeah, so I have the Ben Levitt show that I put on pause because this is more of my priority for now. And then I also have my main channel, which is just Ben Levitt, where if you want to see some old cringy videos of Ben, that's the place to go see him. And then I also have a bunch of social media tutorials where obviously I'm tooting my own horn here, but I still think that even my old videos are better than 99% of the social media growth content that gets put out there. I also think that I was looking back on it, I gave like too much of the sauce that people couldn't understand because they didn't have the foundational knowledge yet. Where I think the general understanding of these principles are now at a point where I really think that a lot of my older videos will start randomly getting love again, because people will recognize my face, they'll want to know the topic, and then they'll actually appreciate the information, and they're at a level where they can understand it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I definitely intend to post a lot more there in the future. I'm just so busy between this show right now and then the other businesses, but they're getting closer to a point where I'll have more time for that stuff. But yeah, definitely go subscribe to Keith's channel if you haven't already. I'm sure you all already have, but he's sitting at 200K and you posted a video 6 hours ago. So definitely go watch that.
Check me out, y'all. And yeah, I'm excited for your stuff, Ben. It's going to be super cool to see how you continue to use all of your skills and bless us with some stuff that you really, really care about too.
Yeah, I definitely will be doing that as soon as I have time. I actually we found the editor for it, so I'm ready to do it. I just don't have the time to actually do it. So I'm hoping within the next 30 to 60 days that I'll be able to just dedicate enough time to make it worth watching. But that's everything on my end. Keith, anything from you?
Nothing else from me. Just
Cool.
make sure that you make today the best day of your life, folks.
That's it. That's it. Be the light you want to see, guys. And we will see all of you tomorrow for an extra episode on Friday. So we'll see all y'all there. Have an awesome rest of your day. And we appreciate you hanging out with us.
Hey, you made it to the end of the clip. That means you're probably enjoying this. And if so, just know that you can catch us live every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to see the full version of this episode, you can click the link in the description down below. Otherwise, YouTube thinks that you will enjoy this next.